Welcome to the Work Class Tech Talk podcast, where we dig into the minds, the mistakes, the wins, and the war stories of the concrete grinding and polishing game. Today, we've got someone very special joining us, someone who jumped into the game in 2014, jumped back out of the game, and now is back. So thought it'd be interesting to sit down with the infamous Rodney Knight of Superfloors Melbourne and get his perspectives on, hey, when he came into the game originally, took a bit of a hiatus and now he's back. Not something we all expected. So thought it'd be good to find out, catch up and find out your perspective on the industry, particularly why on earth you decided to get back into the game and what's changed. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Very grand welcome. I don't think I deserve that. Infamous, not so sure. But yeah, there's a bit of a story behind it all. And if you go back to 2014, what got me into it to now, had a hiatus looking for greener grass and realized the concrete dust, the grey of that dust is greener, so to speak. It's a big journey. Goes right back to the younger years. Getting into this sort of an industry, everything I've done has been creative with my hands. Mm-hmm. And having the hiatus was chasing a dream in automotive in a 4x4 accessory shop.
Yep.
And to a degree was quite successful, but aspects didn't work out, and found myself looking back to the polished concrete game and finding a new way of enjoying it, and one I didn't expect to find. It's been interesting, doing it differently, finding my feet again, and just finding a new love for it, which I'd kind of lost love for it when I left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Far out. Well, I want to go back to the beginning, right? Not the very beginning. We'll get past Adam and Eve, and then we'll get into like November 14. Okay. Yeah. A little bit prior. So what were you doing before you got into grinding and polishing, and what was your first venture? Where did that start off and how'd that look?
My first venture.
Yeah.
I'll take you back to 1995.
Uh-huh.
I was 10. No, look, well, it depends how far you go. I've made money in different ways due to our socioeconomic position growing up. Mm-hmm. And from 10 years old, Dad was in greeting cards. I used to cut up the Christmas cards and sell off little ones next Christmas. It was a bit of a fun thing. And then by 12, I was doing Rod's odd jobs, making money, and then selling bikes and making things. It was always around making something.
Entrepreneurial.
But it was just mentally satisfying to go and, into automotive. I had an apprenticeship, so I left school at 16. Mm-hmm. I was in a furniture warehouse for 12 months. Then I was at a service station doing night shift in Mount Evelyn, and after night shift on Sundays, after a while, I used to go down to the IGA and get out a paper and look for jobs. Ended up with an apprenticeship in automotive at Mercedes and did my time there.
Right.
Moved over to Snap-on Tools. So just life demands, growth, requirements. I found myself.
So your own franchise?
Yeah. So I worked for them for 12 months, and then I was Australia's youngest, and then also won some awards in that 6-year period, which was quite satisfying, but found a ceiling, and this is for everyone in every business. The evolution of online marketing, et cetera, had changed. So it was a lot harder and a lot more competitive to maintain that business, and they were falling behind. So found the ceiling, and essentially there was limiting factors to the growth of that business, and it was either mass investment and maybe not enough return. And also during those last couple of years, I sort of encountered what they call the black dog, and it was a struggling time, a hard time to get through. And my wife was very supportive through that and helped a lot with the redirection. And found myself looking on everything from Gumtree to business sales, looking for test and tag, just something simple, something straightforward. Seeing a few hundred customers a week, you still found yourself quite lonely, and just wanted to rejig life and find a new way of doing it. And this ad kept popping up, excuse me, this ad kept popping up for custom concrete polishing. No idea, algorithm didn't know me very well. And it kept popping up, and I just ignored it while I'm looking for businesses for sale to pivot and take a new turn. I eventually clicked on it. It was just vinyl sign written Ford Transit, and didn't know anything about it. And my neighbour, a mate of yours, Nigel, he actually said you knew something about it, put me in touch with you. I did a 3-day training seminar, and a couple of my boys did it as well. And by the end of that training seminar, I found a new love, like taking the old arcade floor next door to your old showroom, taking that arcade floor from rubbish to high gloss was really rewarding. And it's just something that's been consistent throughout my whole life, just creating something.
Back flipping bikes.
Yeah. And so doing that training seminar, I got a lot out of it, had the conversation, bought that business for 28 grand. First job was a machine, Josh?
Workmaster.
It was a workmaster. Knew nothing about the industry, did what I did, and thought I was doing right. I got a $1,000 deposit on the first job and ruined it in 2 ways. Ripples through the floor, and used a solvent-based sealer in a cafe. They had to throw out everything in the fridge. I didn't get paid for the rest of that job, and rightfully so. Machine died. Didn't even get to finish the job initially. Machine died. I called you, one of many more calls to come, and you bailed me out with a 530, King Concepts 530, and that was the go-to from that point on. Got that. Everything else died. The van died. Everything died. So I ended up with a 530, a pulse back. The Hilti didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's still kicking today.
Wow.
And ended up just learning a lot on the fly, and mouths to feed, and not much knowledge, which I learned was the key ingredient to polishing concrete. You learn fast when you have to. And a
lot of pressure.
And with pride in your work. If you don't have pride in your work, it stands out.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Yeah. That was day one.
Let's go to day 2.
Far out. So you ended up with $28,000 for the hand grinder, which is still going today. I wonder if we worked those numbers backwards, if it was worth $28,000.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think it might have been, went to Jesse, then went to Chris Matthews.
Uh-huh.
I think back to Jesse. I actually think I might have it back again. I think I got it back off Jesse, and it's my polishing Hilti now.
All right.
Just back up.
I think we should work the numbers backwards and see if that thing's actually made you $28,000.
Well, it's been rebuilt about 4 or 5 times. So it'd be up to a value of 28 plus 5 grand. So, yeah.
So it didn't stop there, though. Like you said, there was a steep learning curve. You're committed to this thing.
Yeah.
And, it really resonated. The type of work really resonated with yourself.
Yeah.
The things that you like to do. From memory, it grew pretty fast, or at least it felt that way to me. It might not have felt that way to you while you're in it.
It's blurry. There's 2 ways I reflect on that. So the first few months I was alone. Then I had a business partner briefly, which I should have learnt my lesson then. That lasted only several months, and then we both found new avenues and ways of doing business. And it was probably the end of 15 when it really took off. In that first 12 months, I found myself doing anything and everything just to pay the bills, struggling with things I now realize I shouldn't have struggled with. And anyone that knows construction sites dragging a 530, let alone later a 680 through the mud down the side of a building is not fun. You learn very quick, very fast, very hard sometimes, but memory is key. And if you don't have memory, you can't continue to produce good quality work. You're just constantly going back to square one. How do I deal with this? And calling somebody, and like, you were my go-to and still have been for such a long time, and credit to you.
I have no memory left.
Yeah, well, you shared it with me, so I can help you with that. It grew very fast in that, that first 12 months was on and off. And then I would say 2016 onwards really started to advance fast, and just picked up a couple really key clients and customers, mostly domestic, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think that first couple of years was predominantly domestic with the odd commercial job, and had staff come on and go, and not what you want, and good relationships out of that as well. But that is a facet of what we do, and it's probably 1 in 10 can really execute what we do. It's very hard to find somebody if you find someone and then train them and then realize it's a lot of cost involved and time to get
It
to
is,
that
huh?
point to realize they can't retain it. They don't understand, or they can't remember that job back on that day when it was pouring with rain. What did we do again?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a fast learning curve, a good one, a lot of good relationships in domestic. Got a 680 RC generator, King Concepts 5500. Ended up upgrading that with a VSD and motor and everything. That was bulletproof. Still going to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were the golden years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of getting into the game. One thing, like I don't have much memory left, but one thing that I do remember is that you grew really fast using, I guess, a platform or taking an avenue that a lot of contractors at the time were not even tapping into. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one, and I can expand on it, or if people want to reach out, I'm happy to share techniques and methods and learning curves that have helped me that were more pattern built. Can't just see it and do it. It's over time you have to realize the changes. And it's not bulletproof because the algorithm's always changing. But my first ad was middle of 2016. So I'd been doing Google advertising, which over time helped prop the business up to a good spot on the page, on Google searches. But around about June, July 2016, I put out an ad, $50. I felt like, whoa. I put it out there and landed a sample for an industrial plant.
Where did you spend that $50?
Meta. Well, it wasn't Meta back then.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I spent that on Facebook.
Yep.
And I don't even think I had Instagram at that point, or maybe I did.
I
didn't understand the point of pictures. But no, I spent $50 on Facebook, made up some suggested avenues for it to target the audience, landed this sample, which I put myself out there and I said, look, I'll do it for half price. You see what you think. 25 square meters, knocked it over in 2 nights. It was very 40, 50 plus year old ink printing plant, concrete.
Yeah.
Granulithic screed, repairs, ramped angles, all the lot. Did that, and that landed, I would have to say, close to 20,000 square meters of polished concrete over the next several years.
Wow.
Both interstate and in Melbourne.
With the one client?
With one client. And we can go into the depths of that if you want, from a case study point of view.
Yeah, well, why? I mean, if they're 20,000 square meters, I'm expecting in Australia that's not one location.
No, that was 4 sites in New South Wales, 1 in Adelaide, 2 in Melbourne.
Wow, you went national with a $50 investment.
Yeah, better than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
No, well, yes, less of a gamble, but essentially. From a case study point of view, and I've only just done these numbers and had a chat with relevant staff, that company was spending 35 grand for a small area. Can't remember exactly the square meters, but just you can work this out proportionally. 35 grand every 2 years, shutting down manufacturing, chemical smells for epoxy.
Yeah.
Cure times, all that. Problems with the fact that they had moisture present all the time, so they couldn't work with that and the product and trust the product would last.
Yeah.
So 35 grand every 2 years. We're up to 9 years. That concrete that I polished in those first couple of years is still, it's dulled off. It's probably a bit pitted now. The cracks are showing up again.
It's serviceable.
It serves the purpose. It's easy to clean. It's long lasting. It's presentable. And lots of different little things like adverse effects. They're not replacing casters on trolleys. They're not having hazards like they did before. The cleaning bill has gone down because it was so hard to clean because everything would stick to the damp surface of the epoxy.
Yeah.
Whereas the polish doesn't have the same characteristic. And so over 9 years, they're only just considering now possibly spending money again. And that money won't be as much because the legwork is done. It's only got to go through 2/3 the stages now. So 9 years, probably 10 by the time we start back at it. And that has saved them so much money, so much hassle. presents well has got them more clients because they now do client walkthroughs.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way it presents spells professional. So they get a lot of business out of it. The value of that $50 ad, that sample that apprentice engineer winged it with us.
Yeah.
To now, and he's now the manager of that one site, is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and back when everyone starts, we all go, oh, how much warranty do I offer? I don't want to have to redo it in 8 years' time. How long is it actually going to last for? I can tell you in industrial, in the harshest environments, it can last. So put yourself in domestic, unless it's mistreatment, you're not going to go back I've never done a warranty return. I did one actually, and it was for the strip outside of a roller door where the customer didn't understand that the polish susceptible to the environment wears out. Not wears out, but can degrade and look a bit different. It wasn't even that much.
Well, it's like leaving anything outside.
Yeah. So, if you're worried about your warranty long term, whatever system you're running, just vet it first. And, I've only used 2 or 3 systems in all the time, and all have very good makeup, chemical makeups and etc. It's amazing how long it can last. And you don't have to watch your back for all the guys that are getting into it. But pride and quality is also what got us there. It's not just the long-lasting concrete. Yeah,
and you said that you were using all quality materials as well, and you're installing it correctly and all that type of thing. That's
most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
We all push the limits, don't adhere to cure times, and manage to do good work still.
Yeah,
if you know what you're working with.
Yeah.
But can't do that all the time. But so there's a bit of a backstory for how it grew and what got us through even the tough times during COVID. It was a really good gamble.
Well, for me, that kind of highlights something that I always feel in this industry is being constantly overlooked.
Yeah.
Is the full value of what you're bringing to that client.
Yeah.
They realize this after 10 years.
Yeah.
And, you've done it for a competitive price.
Yeah.
But the difference
with the right parameters.
Yeah.
Competitive is arguably a race to the bottom or smart operations. There's two different, not you saying that.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways of looking at it. Some people think competitive, you're cheap.
Well, they wouldn't have gone for it, taken the risk on it, perceived risk.
Yeah.
If it was, 8, 10 times more expensive than the epoxy coating, even though now looking back 10 years, they've almost recouped. They could have almost paid that kind of money for it.
Easily.
Right?
And epoxy is not competitively priced, is it? Like when you factor in not the downtime, but just the epoxy these days, a quality job can be quite comparable to a low gloss random exposure polish.
Yeah.
Which I hate getting so far and not finishing it off. So I just couldn't go through a couple grinds and I'm only a little bit further off and I can give them a polish.
Yeah.
And when you look at the price comparison and the longevity difference, you would definitely go with a polish once you understand it.
Correct. And these guys, they fully understand it now, right?
Yeah. Education is key.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I guess is a bugbear for me is that as contractors, we're kind of going, they want a price. They've got a price from someone else. I've got to put in a lower one to get the project.
No, just sell yourself better.
Yeah.
Sell what you're offering and fill in the gaps that they weren't given from the previous quote. A lot of quotes, and full transparency on this, like excess detail is better than not enough. And where there's not enough, you get caught out, whether it be with dust disposal or protection costs or how you want your site set up or the process. The amount of times people said, I've got a better price. Oh, what are they doing to? Satin finish. Well, I priced you for high gloss.
Yeah.
Let me compare it to satin finish. Okay. And then they trust you, being transparent. And even if your price is a little bit higher, sometimes just because you've helped them, educated them, they want to go ahead with you.
Yeah.
Because of that excess communication, which I'm well known for.
That's a really good outcome.
Yeah.
But you got out of the game. You went into you pursued the 4x4 industry.
Yeah. So
which was a big passion. I remember.
It's always been a passion. Yeah. And having the four-wheel drive and getting into it, having a few four-wheel drives and being a mechanic by trade and just loving working on cars.
You chose the right vehicle to work on.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, it was good.
Always breaking down.
No. Only mine. Yeah, look, it was a dream. Probably a reckless pursuit of a dream that I guess I appreciate that I've done it. And as with any negative thing in your life, as well as positive, it gets you to where you end up.
Yeah.
And you can't appreciate things the same way without doing it. It was a bad decision on my part. And if I did it, I'd do it differently if I did it again.
I hope so.
But that being said, looking at the value of concrete polishing as a contractor, as a business owner, what we can turn over or earn for ourselves as a 1 or 2 man show, let alone the bigger groups, bigger companies, versus what I learned the limitations were even with having 6 or 7 people running a business or, as a team. Coming back to polishing concrete, I've realized is the right decision, and I probably should never have left and should have listened to those around me that were more aware, because it was too disruptive, and it's a passion, but I should leave it as a hobby.
Yeah, okay.
And polishing concrete I can do because I love it, but it also has a return on investment for the 12, 14-hour days and the pain and the headaches, stressing, the phone calls to Josh. What am I looking at? Is the machine unbalanced? Is it the diamond? Is it the concrete? What's this? Oh, it's oil sweating. It's just a ripple. Oh, okay, right.
Right. You're really selling it to us there.
Yeah. But if you like a challenge, then polish concrete.
And that's true, though, isn't it? You are probably not going to survive if you don't like a challenge.
No. Stick to the simple floor laying and floor coverings options. Well, they're not simple. They still have a technique. But, yeah.
They're probably a little bit more straightforward.
It's a science project, an ever-evolving science project, polishing concrete.
Yeah. It's
not just, I'm going to do this and end here. This slab is horrible. I need to use a thicker-bodied potassium to build it up at a lower grade, or a product that can regrow the concrete and then go through my usual processes. It's just, there's never there are dull days where you're just doing the same thing for 1,000 square meters, but you listen to a podcast, listen to some music, chatting to someone on their phone, and it's very scientific.
Yeah.
It's easier, but it's never easy.
No, well, you've got to see a lot in order to learn it, right? Because as you're just describing, every job's different. Yeah. And you've got to be exposed to those differences in materials and that sort of stuff to, first of all, be able to identify them and then respond to what you're seeing.
Yeah. And you don't have to. I'm a bit more, my personality type is a bit more clinical and investigative. I'd look deeper into it than I need to, and sometimes chase shadows where the result would have been fine anyway. And there's a lot of operators that don't take it to that degree all the time, but they still deliver a good floor.
Yeah.
I'm often over-delivering. My price could be medium. I could be over-delivering on that price, but it's all for me at the end of the day, because I used to get dictated to by the customer how well I'd done. But the customers often don't understand. And you can have customers you've done work for 5 years still asking when you put the final coat on. And you've educated them and you've done it. And they've walked on it the next day, and they never, it's just
putting the third coat on now, Biff.
Yeah, no, I've just had to polish concrete like it's my own.
Yep.
And the payday is the reward. I don't really consider the customer as much as I used to, because I know if I've done a good job. And in domestic, I used to have that fight a lot, as a lot of contractors will experience with a one-time customers, never had it before and doesn't understand that is the best we can do with what we're being given.
Yep. And
they saw a magazine and they said, that's what I want. And you can't have it. Well, someone's got to pay, but we're not paying you to fix it.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's an interesting game.
And so you're back now.
I am.
Back in the game.
Yeah.
Are you building the same company, or have you made some changes?
Yeah.
What's different?
We set out we set out with a slightly different viewpoint, and I have some different expectations on myself that I will get around to applying better as the business grows and things settle down, become more consistent. Superfloors Melbourne was not just about polished concrete, although the name just works in with the certified process, Husqvarna Superfloor polished concrete.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept was there that if we wanted to, evolve into floor coverings and whatnot, we could use subbies and spread out as Superfloors Melbourne.
Yep.
It didn't have to be just in a niche. That's could still happen, but the focal point is polishing. Coming back into it, I've got better boundaries, which is I expect myself to have better boundaries, and I'm not delivering, but that will come. But I'm picking work a lot more carefully, and just I'm not. How do I say? I used to freak out that I wasn't going to have a job, and I'd say yes to 40 square meters, and then yes to 400 square meters, and then yes to 1,000 meters, and then the 40 square meter one would hinder all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always worried about not having work. Now, if I'm worried about being quiet, work always comes back around. It just does. There's no real way of saying how it's going to be. It just comes back around. I remember I was bricking up a hole in the side of the house for 2 days doing some work. I was getting a bit worried. Phone call comes in. I met a big commercial builder. You referred them to me. And, they were a very solid input into how successful KCP was.
Mm-hmm.
And things just come from left of field. And, other contractors can't handle a job, and they call up people that, see if you're free. So marketing differently.
Tell us about that.
Yes,
so you've always been pretty strong on marketing.
Social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so social media has been a really fun game to learn, and you never fully learn it. There's patterns, and then every now and then, it used to be every 6 months, every 3 months, could be once a month, and back to 2 months. The algorithm tweaks its patterns, and where you say it was 2,200 followers, I'll get on an average stories, specifically 100 views. It's nothing special. A good story can be 250. And if it's a reposted real story, it'd be 50.
Yeah, okay.
Especially if you tag somebody else. Like when you tag someone else, it's using their views to help support you. So it seems to sort of offset that. The story doesn't seem to get quite the result, in my experience at least. Reels, like the value of social media. I don't have a website.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Didn't realize that.
No.
I'm so fixated on your Instagram account.
Is that all? 5 or 6 grand to set up a website for what? Not to say there's no value in it, but I think the future of certain industries isn't revolving around websites anymore, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Could be wrong, could be right, don't know. But after that $50 gamble
I was
in 2016, spending $600 to $700 a month on Google and getting 8 calls, and only 1 or 2 of which were legitimate calls. This last 7-8 months being back, I think we were spending $700-800. I didn't realize $700 or $800 minimum a month on Google. And I was looking. My wife pulled it up. She's like, "It's come up to $1,200 or $1,500 because they back charge you, then back credit you, forward charge you, whatever." And there's 9 calls, all from other countries, all less than 5 seconds, and I never got them. They never came through my phone, and I was charged for them.
Yeah, right.
And I don't have a website, so that probably affects it. But just having a Google page is a big thing. Gmail, reviews, photos. But $600 to $700 a month on Google previously. If I spend that on, I might spend $250 to $400 a month on social media now when I want to turn the tap on and off. I was spending that for 8 months, got nothing out of it. Nothing off Google.
Yeah.
And now I said Google, this TechTalk's going to go bad because the algorithm's going to know I'm talking negatively about it. No. Google is great. Anyway, so $600 to $800 a month on Google, got nothing. I would spend $250 on a reel that I just threw together using a cheap software program on my phone. I don't use a laptop for anything. And, I'll get 10 to 20,000 views.
Wow.
Within 2 days, I'll get 4 to 5 inquiries. I'll run that for a week. And so 10 to 20,000, depending on the budget, say call it $350, I might get 20,000 views in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that 20,000, I probably get 15 inquiries. Out of those 15 inquiries, 5 of them are just clicked wrong. 10 of them are legitimate. 4 or 5 of them get back to you. So you sort of pre-write what you want the automated responses to be and set up your questions to prompt them to give you the right info. If they don't take the time to do that, I just want a square meter rate. And you request it again, you don't pursue them. They're not serious. They're just marketplace tire kickers.
Yep.
For want of a better term. So yeah, I would say that social media is where it's at. And
see what you mean by turning on the tap.
Yeah, and it's amazing, like what I was spending on Google versus this. So if you look through my reels, you'll see the higher view counts. You can be sure that I probably boosted them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them though, and this is what's crazy. Right now, I could film this, put it down and go, morning cuppa. If I slow it down and make that 10 seconds, I'll get 500 views. If I do that in under 4 seconds, I will get 2,500 views in a day. Right? It's so different. And because it's not common to the algorithm recognizes the industry we're in, the photos of GKs and polished concrete, the money shots. If you just keep posting that, and I can see this on my old account, KCP, I could back then, there's always the professional footage, but nothing entertaining. But after being in the four-wheel drive industry and seeing influencers and how they really provoke responses and do random things, that 4-second video of a mug on a polished concrete social media page seems to get huge views because the algorithm's like, let's put this out there. We don't see this in this industry. This is different. So when I roll a diamond down and video it and I wrap it up in a quick little video, it's amazing how random videos that I put on, I do one on, one off, quality professional and one silly one.
Yep.
It would be triple the results for the random one to my professional video.
And the funny thing is about that, it doesn't create any value for the person who sees it compared to the one, that was meant to be received by, a would-be, concrete polisher shopper.
I probably get the follows I didn't used to get doing the professional page. I'd get 1 to every 4 now. Like it was all professional. It's like you really had to say everything in the one photo or video to get somebody to follow you. I think now times have changed. People like engaging with the real you and the character. And if you've got a corporation and a branded way of doing marketing, it's not bad, but add some character to it because people want to get to know you. Are you writing down?
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, cool. Like Jake, Grindstone's Reflections. Write that down.
Yeah.
Do you know it?
Yeah.
Jake's content is personable. You can engage. You get to know him. And your last podcast, showed a lot about him and who he is. And he wears his heart on the sleeve, which I respect and appreciate, and it creates more trust as well. When somebody sees a character, not just a post, a relatable humor, not just a corporate angle, it makes a huge difference to the results. Now, talking about Jake and Grindstone's Reflections and transparency, I don't mind disclosing this because at the end of the day, and it's not disclosing it, anyone can work this out over time, but there's a very small number of concrete polishers and it's a very hard industry. So there's a lot of work to go around for the quality ones that are out there. And so sharing this is more for all of our own entertainment. I think most of my viewers on my stories are other guys in the industry. 20, 30% of them are random followers, people that aren't followers. So there's a lot to be said for social media. And I think put an influencer angle on it and a relatable, character way of doing things. People get to know you and get a feel for you, and I think that helps. I don't know how much work I've got from that.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of time in our day. Podcasts get boring, music gets boring, and you can just play around.
I think I agree with a point that you make there in regards to adding the character to it and that sort of stuff. I think
It's the only reason people come back here. There's many good characters here. No, character is a key.
Well, I find it for me personally, right? I have a look at the way that a lot of people their process from bidding for work to winning the work.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I hear, because I get people calling me and asking, basically, how do I present this type of information?
Yeah.
And I also get the calls of I'm submitting so much, but I'm winning nothing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of work in those submissions.
Correct.
Not just in your own documents, but in completing theirs successfully, especially government. I mean, when you get it, spend 10 grand a year on the legal side of things, and you can keep winning it every 3 years.
Yeah.
But I had to ask myself, is that what I want?
Correct.
Because it's a higher level of stress.
Absolutely. Do you want it?
I've had it. I don't want it again.
Yeah, and all of this is really important to everything in your business.
Yeah.
Right. The type of marketing that you're doing to attract a particular type of clientele, because that's the clientele that you want to work with. Instagram post is probably not going to attract any council work.
Yeah.
Hence you're there.
But I've been inboxed for 5,000 meter warehouses.
Yeah.
Did it go any further than a quote? No. But I learned from that to be more provocative with the client and prompt them to give me an address and a time, and I'll come and quote them.
Sure.
That being said, if you're always busy, then the usual format of getting a name, email address, square meters, description, shooting off a quote, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You land it, great. Caught a big fish. You didn't, you've got plenty of work. But like that $50 ad showed me, that little goldfish you catch can turn into a salmon, and it's a big, a tuna. But it's, if I was struggling for work, I would probably do it a little bit differently, but it's really just come through smoothly since coming back. And I'm picking and choosing. You can sort of tell with some people, if they're just mucking you around, if they say they're good for it's easy, it's usually the worst customer. It's all sort of, no, don't worry about it. They don't come on site for the whole job. Then they get to the end, you send them an invoice and they're like, oh, I don't like this. Come and fix it. It's like, I texted you, I communicated with you. You didn't come. That is your concrete. And that. So yeah, I'm a lot more cautious for my own sake, not to put myself into that position. And a lot of contractors just keep doing it because they're in that hypervigilant state of where's my next job coming from. But if there's anything I can tell you, that if you've been around a long time and you've got pride in your work, you'll keep getting work. When's
the right time to market?
That's an interesting one. It changes a little bit, but sometimes I'll just chuck a post on a story on like 2 a.m. this morning, finishing at 1:30 this morning, finishing night shift, or finishing day, went into night. Those results are lower. If I schedule it for between 6:30 and 8:30 in the morning, between 4 to 7 p.m. at night, it's definitely better. And the demographic that views it is different. So I find that that I'll see more of other contractors viewing it during the day, and then after hours I'll get other people. And yeah, I'd say days of the week, there are some ups and downs, and there's the randomness doesn't always help. Sometimes you need to really have a consistent, like TechTalk Fridays time, but it depends on the content and what you're trying to get. If you're trying to get work, you probably want at the start of the week when they're sitting in a meeting saying we need a polisher.
Yeah.
If it's a bit of fun social media posting, every day at a set time would be good. But like I said, if you're not in the need of work, you can just do it whenever. But if you want to find that niche time, you can pick those times to do it.
So are you
weekends are definitely lower.
Definitely lower?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you marketing when you're busy or only when you're quiet, or doesn't make a difference for you?
Just whenever. I try to do something once a month, and
What? Once a month? I think I see something from you every day.
Yeah, no. Sponsored ads.
No, I mean, well, even sponsoring, yeah. So about once a month for the sponsored.
Yeah. Or just to stay relevant, because you don't know after this commercial job that's 3 weeks in the making, you don't realize sometimes till the last week that you're not getting calls, and you can just be focused on that job and then realize that, oh, hang on, I haven't got any calls coming through.
So remain consistent, keep the pipeline filled, even when you are busy.
Yeah. And you will see that if you're looking at your reel or your story count, you can go 2-3 weeks of really good hits, then just suddenly it plummets. The second it does that, alter your tactic, because it's not necessarily you, it's just the algorithm's changed, or it is you and you're doing too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. That's the social side of the industry, the marketing side. From a technology side of the industry, coming back to it, has anything changed? Or is it just a matter of just jumping out and jumping straight back in?
iPhone 17 Pro Max is out.
You what?
iPhone 17 Pro Max is out. Technology's changed. Yeah. Machinery, there's good competition. The GK's out there. Good to see some thought put into something that's coming out, and not to say others don't, but we're seeing progress in that area. And I'm yet to have my hands anywhere near one really, but it's pretty cool what I see. There's definitely a lot more international competition, but I think the question comes down to support.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definitely technology's come a long way. I think tooling's definitely broadened.
Yeah, right.
And I could say that from 2 years ago, there's a lot of things that there was gaps that need to be filled. I can see have been filled.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, some manufacturers have covered them all. Some have grabbed niches that no one had covered, but they don't have everything.
Gotcha.
So, previously I was pretty brand loyal, and I'd use a bit of works, predominantly Husqvarna. Now I'm Superfloors certified, and I'd say all my chemicals, to a degree, unless it's a very unique job, Husqvarna now. Diamond tooling, I use a combination of Carbon, Works, Husqvarna, and the reason for that is that one, familiarity, but two, sometimes there's that little gap, and you need a tool that your regular supplier doesn't have, so you jump around and use that.
Cherry picking.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot more pressure from international suppliers to try and buy their product. Have you picked up on that?
Yeah, I get,
not yourselves here, but have you picked up in the industry? There's a lot more people being reached out to from all levels of suppliers.
Yeah, and I'd say it's across the board in all industries too, not just ours.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, we get the feedback on that. We also, I'm normally where the technical questions come to.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like a doctor.
You mean when they've bought the wrong product and now they need your help?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, if you're a doctor, you might get the impression that the whole world is sick, right? Because you just keep on getting patients, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's
same in automotive.
Nobody's
this car's horrible.
Every car,
because you're a workshop, not because the car's horrible. It's just because you keep seeing the same problem because you're in a workshop.
Exactly. Even worse if you work at a dealership. The same brand keeps coming. Why are we selling these cars? So for me, it's like I normally get the phone call when it's a technical issue, and then it's like, okay, let's unpick this. And then it's like, I've used this particular thing. It's like, how much does this actually cost you? But it looked really attractive to save me $1, or whatever it was, or I just wanted to try it. It's like, but now you've just tried it on a client's job.
And you've got to go back a step.
Often it's going back more than 1 or 2 steps. It's costing a day or 2, or depending on what the project is. And it's like, far out, man. Was that Was that worth it?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, hey, it's costing me time to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And I want to do that because I want the industry to keep moving forward, not backwards.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like, what was the real cost of this?
Yeah.
It looked attractive at the time.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
A lot of my aversion to certain products, getting them from overseas or from unreliable sources, is just not being able to reach out and get support or get a replacement, or if it's a bad batch, work it out quickly enough to not cost yourself a lot of money. And
and I should probably actually say, if you have done that, bought something from somewhere else, I'm not going to do that technical support anymore. Okay,
they're just not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've come and gone from other suppliers for tooling from the cheaper perspective, and if it saves me $2 to $3 a square meter, call it $5 a square meter across the range, but I have consistency issues, a bad segment, or I can't produce the goods. I've tried tooling where I'm moving the 830 RC, weights down, weights up, weights back. I have tried everything on a bunch of diamonds from one brand, jump to another brand that's just got that little gap filled, and it can make all the difference. I can double my speed just by getting the right tooling.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going from a motion speed of 1 on an 830 to get full exposure, I might be doing something wrong. But going to a motion speed of a mid to high 2 can be the difference of a day. And that day could be worth, industry standard, give or take $2,500. Now, that tooling that you saved $800 on, trying to look at your monthly outgoings, it's not always as cost efficient as you think. Just because it works, is it because you're always doing the same settings, or is it that you haven't reached out to see that another tool can be 2, sometimes 3 times faster and get the right results? And going back to knowledge, a lot of us have set starting points, and that can also not prove whether a tool is good enough.
Yeah.
A lot of people will just go, all right, I'm on this and that and this motion speed, that much water, this much offset, and they don't play with it. And there's a lot of people out there that push the limit and find how to get the most out of a tool and the speed. And in commercial, especially when it's competitive, you have to. In domestic, you could be getting paid good enough money to take your time and just get everything right as slow as you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
But on a deadline, you're forced to find more efficient ways of doing your job. So yeah, going back to tool suppliers and the nastier competitors, for want of a better term, I don't find it cost effective across the board. 1 or 2 bits and pieces here and there, I'm not going to say aren't worth it. But on the stuff that really affects your machine process, to save, call it $2 a meter over 1,000 meters, it's just not worth it.
And when you're saying saving $2 a square meter on 1,000 meters, you're talking about the upfront cost of saving $2. Where
not on productivity.
When you review it, when you on the backside, you're actually losing money.
Yeah, because you're going slower. So I'm not being biased to any brand here. It's just something to consider when you try to save money. Fine, if you've done the legwork and you've found a supplier and that product is consistent to what you want and you can get good results, I can't argue with that. But if the difference is, and like I said, with the scientific aspect of this and the patterns we all form and how we set up our machine, we just don't move any quicker just on principle because that's how we work.
Yeah.
You're better off just sticking to a reputable tool that can be productive enough and consistent enough, and you can get support on and go down the road and buy it. And that's a big thing. Stock on the shelf is a big thing. And talking about the changes coming back into it, there's a lot more showrooms now. Before they were just factories. Now there's showrooms, there's bigger showrooms. The guys with stock are selling more because they're consistently reliable on getting product. And I think that's a big factor for where everyone's at. And I think where people struggle is where they're saying, hey, can you try this at your expense? And I'll charge you half for the diamonds. I appreciate that, but there's very few companies in Australia that have done the legwork to properly R&D and put a product on the concrete to know it works. And every slab changes. So how's my feedback for them going to be consistently accurate on the product you're testing?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my constructive opinion. But
I think it's constructive.
yeah.
And I think a couple of things that I pick up in what you say there is that one, having that the tool available or the materials available when you need them is important. What we see today is that operators are running a lot leaner, and the pipeline is probably not booked out as far ahead as it has been in recent
Lean
years.
is not smart. And
Yeah,
after getting set back up again, I can tell you right now, the amount I cost myself by trying to run lean while I built back up has cost me far more than had I just had my array of diamonds selection options available.
Mm.
It hurts, and I built it up bit by bit. Now I have a go-to with a range of different options. It's running lean. It hurts for a month when
Yeah.
you build it up, but it saves you so much money when you can just turn back to your kit, get a different
Get the
tool
right thing.
and go for it. Because if you actually break down the lack of efficiency in our industry, I don't have it. Get in the van, got to drive an hour and a half, probably talk for half an hour, go back. At 3 hours, you're costing yourself in excess of $700.
So,
So, like, that's when you compare having a kit that's set up and not having enough.
So is this like having a socket set with only every second socket?
No 10 mil.
No 10 mil, no 10 mil socket. I'm going to get my 10 mil socket when I get paid for this job.
Yeah.
It's like having, only half the sockets in there and go, I'm just going to save some money for now. And
So technology, not just in tooling. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
The GK series, I've seen a lot of socials around it. Am I wrong in what I think I've seen? Are there any comparisons going on with later model machines? Because I've seen a little bit with 820s, 680s, and big blocks, and not to say they're not quality, but I've got an 830, so I want to see, and others might want to see the results when compared to that.
Okay. Well, that might be a bit controversial, actually. It's probably not available. It was previously available. We did a review on a more up-to-date model of machine, which is a pretty common, pretty popular machine.
Yeah.
And we were asked if we could remove that. And, out of, I'd say, goodwill, we decided that we would oblige and that we would actually take that down. So there used to be a comparison. There's actually no longer a comparison available on our YouTube channel.
Okay, well, that's very sportsmanlike of you.
Yeah, I guess I feel, and some people might disagree with me. Of course they do. That's why we removed it. But I think that one of the, I guess as contractors, and we talk about technology and we talk about all of the things that are contributing to, I guess one of the things that I wanted to talk about after this is, I guess it was competitiveness and market pressures and that sort of stuff. And I think it's really pertinent as a contractor, just like anyone who's shopping to buy a car, is that you can actually test drive these things and
100%.
You can see what you're going to do. Because if I was going out, say, for instance, we compare this to manufacturing. Okay, we used to say that the difference is we're manufacturing on site, bringing the machinery or the manufacturing plant to the materials. If I was a manufacturer and I was looking to build a plant, I would be going to the manufacturers of that machinery for my plant, and I would be seeing it in action. That's what I want to see. This is how I make my decisions. So the fact that can't be done anymore, that particular bit of information has been removed, you're kind of left with this, well, I don't know, what am I making my decisions based on? Is it just, I like the look, the design, the things that don't contribute?
You'd only be making it off your own team's experience. That's limited sometimes because you aren't out there doing 10, 12-hour days testing other machines anymore. Much. You've got feedback, but you don't have anything directly yourself in the same way. It's all very subjective.
Yeah. So,
Interesting. Okay.
we like stats.
I thought I'd throw that provocative question there. I didn't expect that answer.
I wasn't expecting the question.
Sorry.
So
it is one of those things, like you look on the market, what's being released next year, and you consider options. And I think for me, support is a key thing, and it's ebbed and flowed for every manufacturer to be good at it, bad at it, lack the resources, but have the right intentions. And I've seen that over up to 10 years roughly of being around. And I've noticed, for me and others, the biggest drawback when you buy a machine is the after sales support, if it's not there. And I think that's what's critical, whether it be you or anyone else. But, I think seeing that machine come to life and knowing you've got a hands-on approach to it is pretty good. But yeah, keen to see where that's at when I need a new machine.
Sorry?
Keen to see where that's at when I need a new machine. But
yeah, I mean,
there's always new machines coming to market.
I think
not always.
I think probably for us, it was really important when developing this machine. Obviously we've got a workshop here. We see all brands broken down. So
you see the weaknesses.
We get to see all the weaknesses. And we've also, we work pretty closely with our customer base, and we really see it as a partnership to success. And we don't feel that we're succeeding if they're failing.
Yeah.
And so because we have that interest in their success, I think we get a lot of the feedback as to what's going to make the business successful, what's going to keep it not just surviving but thriving. Yeah. And
I've given you guys some pretty harsh, negative, constructive criticism over the years directly, because I don't believe in saying it behind your back and then not telling you. But it's for the betterment, because with any manufacturer, if I want to use your product but something's been dropped, if I feel blindsided or frustrated, you can't be better if you don't know.
I agree.
And I think that's important for everyone, just like to really harness, because if you can't, it's very easy to sell someone this, but then not give them that.
Yeah.
Because they'll never buy that again.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that all unfolds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of having that, it was a lot of work to build the portal. So we can actually, when you
What's the portal?
So when you're having a problem on site.
No, seriously, I'm not aware of this.
All right. So the portal is on the machine whenever you're operating it. And if you have an issue, you don't even have to have an issue. You could say, look, I've got a problem with the machine, and we'll open up your portal for your machine.
Okay.
And we can see live exactly what it's doing. We can see every one of your settings.
Wow.
So that was really important to us when building this machine, is that we want you guys to be running at your optimum.
Cool.
Now, to give you a bit of a scenario.
Can I personal hotspot to that connection if I want to watch YouTube?
I'm not the guy to ask that question. I'm not technical enough. I dare say you probably get a good feed off of your own connection. But to give you a particular scenario, we have ProGrind is a sister company, so we'll just have those portals open the whole time, and we can watch those machines. And the guys in the tech department were watching the screen on one of these portals, and they went, based on what I can see right now, it looks like they've got a generator issue.
Yeah. And
so I actually called up the other side of the country and said, hey, you aware you got a generator issue? You're losing productivity because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Sort that out, and you'll be firing.
Yeah, I'm a testament to that. One of my most recent jobs, I was fighting the power drawer and frustration. I was like, it's 160 amp switchboard. What? Anyway, it turns out that they'd only run small cable to the subboard.
Strangling it.
And so I fought, trying every tool, every option, weights back. And being able to have that would be good.
Yeah, it would. You would be able to go make a telephone call and say, hey, or you could even view it yourself.
It's better than calling Tim and he says, can you open up the back and tell me what the frequency is in the current drawer? I don't know where my key is, Tim. Just tell me what's
wrong. Yeah, well, and that's that's kind of our starting position, right? Is that we want to be able to see all of that detail. And even with we're getting really deep into the machine now.
Yeah, that wasn't my direction. I was actually just keen to know about the comparison.
Well, basically, we can see every metric that the machine runs with, everything down to the wheel speeds, to the current draw, and real-time current draw.
Yeah.
And even if you got to your site in the morning, the machine wasn't there, we'd be able to tell you where it actually was.
That's cool.
So
if they managed to get it off site.
Well, that's, that probably narrows it down to who's got it. So there's a lot of that type of stuff built in there, and that's really because we just want to be able to offer that type of support and make sure that everyone's getting the most out of their operation.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I guess
we a bit of a side quest conversation, but
we may have built a rod for our own backs there.
Yeah, that's good. You've done it before.
Well, I've got a question for you.
Shoot.
We've talked about coming back to the industry. We've talked about technology. We've talked about your marketing.
Yeah.
I want to know if you've seen any difference in, I guess, the climate. And I don't mean the weather. I know that you could go on a dad joke tangent here, but I'm talking more about, the competitive. There it is.
Don't create a storm around the topic.
Look, don't rain on my parade.
I just slipped up on that one. Anyway.
Don't let me cloud your response here. Because sorry.
You got me for now. Continue.
Right.
What's the forecast?
Sorry.
Go on. You're trying to move on to the projections. What is it? What's the next bit? This would be even worse if there was Tim in here as well.
What I was going to ask you about was, let's say, competitive landscape.
Yep.
Is this the current landscape that you're operating in? Is it any different to when you left?
It's taken a few months to familiarize myself again and get a feel for where things are at, what's changed, what hasn't. I do know, I picked up on when I left briefly that there was a bit of a downturn. A few operators came and went. It's been a lot more competitive and difficult and domestic. Might be wrong.
Okay. Yep.
From what I've heard. Commercial, I have noticed that where before it was all about completely about, who you are as a person when you got to know someone over time. And I was talking to somebody just the other day about this. I've noticed that now as companies get bigger that you used to deal with, they're now putting on CAs and PMs that are just use this guy, use that guy. No. And then it goes back to price. And then where you're secure in your work for a long time, you have to be more mindful and engaged with the companies you're frequently getting work with, because the bottom line is becoming all that matters more than it used to. It always did matter, but I feel like it's got a microscope on it now. I would say that people are definitely a lot more mindful about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And going back to the benefits of polished concrete, I think if you're losing work, you've got to ask yourself, is it because you're not selling a good enough package, including education? Of course, they're looking at the bottom line now, but if you can involve yourself in a commercial aspect with a client or a domestic that is usually directly with the client and educate them on the long-term benefits and take that time, we're talking $2,500 a day you're worth, right? Or a $50 ad can get you a lot of work. Stopping for 5 minutes to go with the builder to the client can change your quote dramatically, as well as win you the job, because now they've met you, they know you, and they trust you, and they can see their interests are at heart, not the bottom line. And so when you tell them it's going to cost you twice as much now, but disrupt this situation, this complex, in 3 years to reapply a product versus 10 years, you've now won the job because you have educated them. And
they know what that cost is.
Yeah. Like talking about relatability on social media. It's the same in person. Send a quote, don't get a response. Follow it up, they went with someone cheaper. If you can take that time and communicate more with the builder, the CA, the client, and just be that point of difference that others don't have, then you might see a better result. And I'm selling you everything here, knowing that it could be also to the detriment of our own business. But the better we are, the better we spread ourselves, the quality, the pride, the better reputation we all get.
Correct.
The more
As an
polished
industry.
concrete benefits. And you've seen the evolution of it when it was just rubbish in shopping centers, not common, to building up to where it is now. And that all came from awareness and education.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because they saw a photo. So I think that's where it's more cutthroat now, is you have to be on top of that a lot more, because it's just everyone's looking at the bottom line more. They don't read the fine print about the benefits.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think there's a bunch of different factors to that. Some of it being that, construction companies are far more software driven these days than they used to be.
Yeah.
So it only gives one dimension in that scenario. And like you said, if you got to meet with not just the builder but their client, you've got the opportunity to hear all of their 360-degree problems.
As well as the budget they've got in mind.
Correct.
Because we can go on to an elephant in the industry if you want.
Go for it. What's the elephant in the industry?
Metaphorically speaking, whatever name you want to put on it, but there's the big boys and there's the rest of us. It's very easy, and I'm guilty of this, to look at what you hear, what someone else is charging, and go, I can't do that for that. It's a race. It's a competition to the bottom. You got to ask yourself, though, is that really a race to the bottom, competition to the bottom? They're talking about the bottom line and budgets, and that's all they're looking at, software driven. Or do we need to alter something? Like I was saying, the gaps are being filled with a lot of tool ranges. A lot of suppliers have much broader range of options.
Yeah.
That means that, talking about productivity speeds, why is it someone else can do a better price? And what are they cutting out? And we all look at the finish and go, that's not acceptable. But who decided that?
Yeah.
It's because they went to the client potentially and they had that conversation, said, this is what it's going to cost you for you to get what I think you should have. What's your budget? What do you want me to take out of it to get that budget? Here's a sample. You happy? Let's do that. And some people can knock it over quicker, and so they can be more competitive, and some people can't. Builders don't really look at your pride in your work. They want you in and you out. So if you over deliver at a competitive price, you're only going to sink yourself. Because again, at $2,500 minimum a day per operator, if you take 3 days longer because you want it to look good, the builder couldn't care less.
No.
And the client was already pleased 2 steps earlier. So it's not to say I'm always this constructive about this perspective, but it is a reality that we all sort of look at everyone else's prices and don't consider as apples and apples. And we need to sell ourselves better, have better communication, compromise, and educate. Like, it's just, if you don't do those things, then you're not going to win the job, and you can't really compare apples and apples if you're not aware.
Yeah, and I think there's a few things that have also happened in the Australian market historically. So, like over the last decade or so, and something that's happened probably in only the last 2 years, that probably plays into what you're saying. And over a decade ago, Australia, I guess, was pretty well known for really high quality polished concrete. And 80% of the market was residential.
Well, not even just about the quality, just polished concrete. I believe we're right up there compared to a lot of other countries, just putting on guards and rolling coats on, and high quality as well.
Yeah.
From what I picked up. Yeah.
So the Australian market was probably about 80% residential, 20% retail and commercial.
Yeah.
And there were companies that, in order to satisfy the requirements of commercial and retail spaces, they were set up specifically for doing that high volume, price reflective reflected that too.
Yeah.
And then we had, I guess, the more of the craftsman of the industry, which was the supporting the residential side of the industry, and really fantastic at what they do.
Yeah.
And what we've seen in recent times, and I think we're starting to see the end of this, is the market flipped into 80% commercial.
That's what I think I was talking
and
about.
retail.
Getting out of the industry, coming back in. I think I've seen there was a real, and COVID, builders, new contracts, winning deals, not much money, no loans.
Yeah.
Domestic suffered, whereas commercial was already committed and funded and backed years earlier. So I think that would have supported that shift.
Yeah. And so now what we've got is we've basically got like this comparison between we had the McDonald's franchises, which have been supplying food to the masses.
Yeah.
And then we had all of these other boutique restaurants that were doing about 80% of the supply.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of dried up. It got really competitive.
Yeah.
And now they've gone, well, we've got to pivot and we've got to become like McDonald's.
Yeah. But when they're charging 120 or 40 a metre, give or take, whatever, for domestic to do 68 walls in 2 stages around no weather cladding and then trades and plasterers. So then I get called, what do you charge for commercial? That little. It's like, I got 4 walls, mate. And it's straightforward.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm saving a lot of time. What you can do in a week, I can do triple that.
Yeah.
So
it's a big shift it's a big shift in a lot of different parts of the business though, because you go from having really high detail, very high expectations of what your brand is being built on.
Yeah.
And now you're getting a request from a commercial builder and they're saying, I need this done and I need it done for this price. And you're going, I can't do anything for that price. But because you're the bespoke restaurant versus the high volume fast food that they're asking for.
Yep.
And so everything about your business model, from all of the overhead to the type of guys that you're employing, because you're employing them for their high detail, attention to detail and everything, to the amount of vehicles that you have, the way that you just even move your machinery around, and the amount of different types of of all of your consumables that you have on board.
Yeah.
Well, all of that stuff gets really streamlined when you're doing volume.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm looking at this from being a craftsman to then having to do this at a high volume. It's like, we don't fit.
And can I just add into that a side note? I can tell you from experience, if you're a one-man band with a few staff, your assets are actually your resale.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever getting out of it, unless you have committed contracts, you are a lot of the business. So I have learned that we have all those machines and vehicles and overheads that is still an investment one day. That is what sort of, if you move out of the industry, that's what gets your money back over time.
Yeah, okay.
They produce a lot more than they cost, and then you can sell them again.
So only buy Mercedes-Benz? Is that what they're going to be the rest of your plug?
That's all I've ever had. I've never been let down 4 vehicles later.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely a shift, isn't there?
And it's kind of a topsy-turvy market, and it can be a real rude shock when you've had your business set up a particular way and that honeypot's kind of dried up a bit, and now you've got to pivot.
Work out what corners you can cut, excuse the pun, that doesn't come at a cost to you and bite you in the ass. Because I've over-delivered for a long time in commercial because of that. I hate to watch the back mentality. I don't want to worry about finishing a job and then having to go through and do something that I just tried to get around because I had a cheaper price and I don't understand that's what it came with because I didn't educate them. So guys going from domestic to commercial, I can say personally, it's a very hard one to work out standard that's acceptable. So when you look at a finished building that somebody's done and you say that was too cheap, you can't see what they haven't done that was approved.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, I'm not saying from a defensive stance, that the reason for talking about the elephant in the industry was purely just that there's multiple ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
And going back to your conversation with Jake at Grindstone's Reflections, Grindstone. Yeah. Going back to that conversation and transparency and all that sort of stuff, it's one of those things that I can't tell you how many conversations I've had about competitors' rates, and you know, we're not focused on what we want. We're focused on someone else, and it's like just find a way of doing it differently, maybe.
Yeah.
Not to say we can all be happy about that, but stop looking outside your camp.
The comparison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's
Kind of be happy that the guys in big commercial didn't rush into residential.
yeah. Well, we've seen that, and
Yeah.
the guys that have only done commercial, credits them where it's due. Sometimes the side hustlers struggle to deliver.
Yeah,
in domestic.
I agree. Yeah,
and they don't understand that level of detail that they thought they were delivering, but they're not. So
I think it kind of goes back to a lot of things, like you say. You've really got to focus on what your brand is and what you're offering. And if you do have to venture out of your usual, you've got to know what you're bringing, be able to identify what the current market needs are, and how you can actually deliver on that.
Yeah.
And,
there's a lot of processes and a lot of variations to finishes that can save you money.
And like you said, there's so many more tools now.
But a lot of us are just mad rushing around, and we don't have the time to trial and error that to see what it really costs us. And I can appreciate that once you have more than one staff member, technically speaking, from a setup perspective and a day rate value, you're still worth $2,500 per operator per day. So keeping that flow of work can be harder, and managing quality and delivering on a budget, but good enough, having time to educate, get paid, all that. There's so much to it.
Well, all I'm hearing is that there's cost to that.
There is.
So you can't afford to drop those prices.
What I do is only a small portion of this business. Like TJ, my wife, if it wasn't for her and her input constantly, not just with the business side of things, with the family, we wouldn't be where we are. Like, it's credit where it's definitely due. It's that stuff for a one-man business versus when there's multiple staff. It's just so time consuming, and you just can't keep up. So I think when people consider what they're able to sell themselves for, I've had multiple staff, we have, and I don't think that it's always as cost effective. You're better off streamlining your procedures with less staff, because your turnover is great, but your profit often isn't good enough to justify it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then you actually need to monitor all these things to know where that's going?
I'm not very good at monitoring.
Enter Teresa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's more aware of a lot of those things than I am, and I just do the one thing I can do well. She does everything else.
Well, that's the team, isn't it?
Yeah. Market, product, myself. There's a lot of changes over the last couple of years, and I think that, we're actually quite a small industry, and I think it's nice having a phone call from contractors and calling other contractors, and we don't realize how much we just head down, bum up, and we just don't chat. So when we do chat, it's really good.
Yeah.
You realize that your stresses that are wearing you down are common, and you're not alone. It's a hard one. You get stuck with your thoughts, put on a podcast or call someone, because it can be pretty hard to deal with sometimes when you're just struggling with all those things.
Sure.
And then you're stuck in your mind. Actually, you've eaten, actually had coffee, distract yourself, make a call, because a long day, it can be mentally draining and put you in a bad spot too.
Absolutely. And that's got to be worth it as well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't want to go doing that all for nothing.
No, it's pretty expensive going to servos twice a day. About $40 a day. It'll cost me if I want to keep with the coffee and the food part of that. So build yourself a kitchen in the van.
Oh, there you go. There's a plug. Are they a Superfloors kitchen that are now available on your online store?
No, but I can do it to a budget. No, it's worth it. It pays for itself.
Ah, super.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered everything on the list. You've given us plenty of advice. Thank you for that.
That's all right.
I think one of the things that I would say
we're not competitors, we're allies. So everyone's welcome to call.
The real competition, particularly in this type of market, is the polished concrete project that gets flipped for something else. into whether it be a coating or a covering instead.
And coatings and coverings have their place. I'm not saying just because it lasts the longest, it doesn't always fit the bill.
Yeah.
But it can more than you think.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think I know the project that you were talking about earlier where they're experiencing all these cost savings. Yeah. And I actually would have, at the time when you started on those with that client, wondered if it was actually suitable for their purposes, and see it, 10 years, in the proof.
They've done a good job of signage, slip risk cleanup, correct footwear, new trolley wheels. So many things were done surrounding the polished concrete to make it multiply on itself, the value of it. It's huge. So, it's pretty scary back then. 18 months in to go and wing it on such a grand scale. It was an educated gamble, but yeah.
I know you didn't give yourself a lot of credit for it when you moved into a different industry, but I think one of the things that we recognise here is probably your ability to see, changes on the horizon and to be very quick to adapt. And I think that's probably one of the things that I also noticed in contrast when you talked about having other contractors having to adapt when the market changes. And I think that's certainly one thing that I've experienced you being really good at, despite the fact that you've always got the doubts in your mind.
If the doubt's in your gut brain, listen to it. Because 9 times out of 10, I'll have it in my gut. My wife will have it, the gut brain saying, no. I can't quite see the play. So talking about the horizon, and I'm no, it'll be fine. And it's really costly. Yeah. And so definitely listen to the gut brain, but projecting, looking into the horizon and the possible outcomes that can come with is always a big factor to that success.
And because you're always looking at the horizon, I think your future looks bright.
Sorry?
Because you're always looking into the horizon, I think your future looks bright.
Oh, thank you, mate. We're going to let the sun go down on that comment?
I think so. Yeah. It's been nothing short of super having you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing all of that knowledge with us. Yeah. That's really valuable, and you didn't have to do it. And
don't make me pay for it. We're all in it together.
Copycats. You already know he's got something else going, right? He's already thinking ahead.
Concrete dust.
That's right.
Solutions on the horizon.
Thank you so much for coming in and being on the Works Plus Tech Talk podcast
and have a chat.
I wish you and Teresa all the best.
Thank you.
For the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Done. Thanks, Brett.
This show is proudly supported by Works Plus. Works Plus brings total solutions to all concrete grinding and polishing contractors to make it totally work for their daily operations. We hope you've enjoyed this show. Make sure to tune in each week where we're going to dive deep into all things related to concrete grinding and polishing. We're here to help you so that you can boost your outcomes on the floor.